Hey guys, this is Samir for Digit.in and that's me in a flyboy going really high. And it was quite a scary experience. So what was I doing up there? Well, it was the launch of the Moto X Force and they probably thought that a Moto X could survive a drop from this height, and we actually did not test that. But what we have for you is our first impressions of the Moto X Force. What I have in my hands here is the Moto X Force, Motorola's Shatterproof smartphone as they call it, and we have dropped it a couple of times. We have seen that it does get damaged around the edges a little bit, but yes, the display doesn't seem to be affected with the initial few drops. Of course, a few phones out here have dropped on the concrete floor and have certain visible cracks on it. But just to explain the technology that Motorola is using behind this display, there are actually 5 layers to absorb the shock in the display. The innermost layer is of course made of aluminum chassis, so that of course has that's the strongest structure. It adds durability to the entire display. The second layer is the flexible AMOLED panel. The display is 5.4 inches with a resolution of 1440 by 2560, and it has dual touch layers, so even in the drops and damages, if one of the touch layers gets affected, it has a second one right there for you. The fourth layer is a clear interior lens which adds more to the strength of the display, and the outermost layer is the exterior protective lens to which Motorola has given a proprietary hard coat that will prevent the smartphone from succumbing to bruises and dents. So yes, it can sustain a little more abuse than of course your standard smartphone, as we've dropped it a couple of times here and it still looks fairly all right. So yes, that is the Moto X Force. It is going to be available in 3 colors: white, black and grey. The rest of the layout seems pretty standard. You have the volume rocker on the right with the textured power button, the headphones jack on the top, the micro USB port at the bottom, and of course your SIM card and micro SD card tray right there. It's running on stock Android like most Motorola smartphones that we've seen, which is great. We love stock Android. Coming of course to the price point of the smartphone, it is available for 49,999 rupees. Yes, 50,000 rupees for the 32GB variant and 53,999. That's almost 54,000 rupees for the 64GB variant. It is of course expandable via a micro SD card to up to 2 terabytes. Good luck finding a 2 terabyte micro SD card. Coming to the other specifications, they're pretty standard with other flagships. Like we mentioned before, you have the high resolution 5.4 inch display, 2560 by 1440. It's got the Snapdragon 810, 3GB of RAM, and of course the 21 megapixel camera at the back, which we've seen on other Motorola smartphones. It has of course the front facing camera and the front facing flash. Now, as a smartphone, it functions like any other top-of-the-line phone. I mean, it's smooth. We do not have any internet connectivity to browse the internet or show you something like that. But the camera interface, for example, is fairly what you'd expect. You just tap to focus and click. It's really fast. It can shoot videos in up to 4K. And of course, you can adjust all the settings that you need from the settings menu, which you pull out from the right. As you can see, it's right here. It's a little wheel that clicks with the self-timer, other functions, and of course, you have the front-facing camera, which is of course great if you just want to tap and click some good old-fashioned selfies. So that is our first impression of the Moto X Force as a phone. It feels pretty standard. It feels a little robust. There's a textured back, which feels good in your hand as a grip, something that we've seen on other Motorola smartphones. The rear, of course, screams Motorola with the slight dent with the Motorola icon, the dual-tone flash, the camera, a design that we've seen on other Moto smartphones. And on the front itself, you have 2 grills, I believe, for the speakers, and we've actually drop tested this a couple of times, and it, well, seems to still function after that. Nonetheless, we will bring you a full review of the smartphone to tell you if this is the smartphone that all you careless people need to buy if you're someone that's destroyed a screen multiple times by simply accidentally dropping the phone off a table or from your hands while getting out of the car and regret that decision because the display broke. Should you consider this one in that case? Well, stay tuned as we will put this phone through a few more tests when we review it soon.